So today's story is going to be about a boat. So you can put down your pens and your papers now, because you are going to need your hands for some actions, okay? So, previously in this chapter, Jesus has just fed around 5,000 people with 5 loaves and 2 fish. And today we are joining him where he sends the disciples on ahead of him in a boat. But we're going to need some actions for this story, as always. Now, we're going to split you in your blocks. You guys are going to be Jesus. And whenever you see and you hear me read the word Jesus, you are going to say the Son of God. Practice that bit. And you are going to do the action, which is to make a cross sign on your hands. Now, is there anybody down on this section that thinks they might like to come and just be responsible for making sure your group gets it right? Anybody? Anybody want to come down here and make sure and lead? Well, you decide amongst yourselves who's going to come and do that then. Right, in the middle section, you are going to be the disciples, okay? And you are going to go chatter, 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 chatter. Does anybody in this section want to come down and make sure you get it all right? Nope, fine. Okay, here we go. Right, you guys might do better. You are going to be the water and the waves, okay? So you are going to go whoosh, and you're going to make some waves with your hands. Whoosh. Do we think we can do that? Anybody in your section want to come down? No, you don't need to. You're all too good. Fine. Okay, well, we'll see how good you are then. So I'm going to read the story. I'm going to try really, really, really hard to pause every time I read one of those words. You're going to do the actions, okay? Right, here we go. This is Jesus Walks on the Water, and it is from Matthew chapter 14. Immediately after this, Jesus insisted that his disciples... Oh, disciples, you've got to be more chatty than that. I think they probably chatted quite a lot. I think we should try that again. Immediately after this, Jesus insisted that his disciples, good, get back into the boat and cross the water to the other side of the lake. I forgot that one. It doesn't actually say the word water in there, does it? So this could be quite fun. Oh dear, we'll try a bit harder next time. Right, after sending them home, he went up the hills by himself to pray. Night fell while he was there alone. Meanwhile, the disciples were in trouble far away from land, for a strong wind had risen, and they were fighting heavy waves. About 3 o'clock in the morning, Jesus came towards them, walking on the water. When the disciples saw him walking on the water, they were terrified. In fear, they cried out, "It's a ghost!" But Jesus spoke to them at once. "Don't be afraid," he said. "Take courage, I am here." Then Peter called to him, "Lord, if it is really you, tell me to come to you walking on the water." "Yes, come," Jesus said. So Peter went over the side of the boat and walked on the water towards Jesus. But then he saw strong wind and the waves. He was terrified and he began to sink. "Lord, save me," he shouted. Jesus immediately reached out and grabbed him. "You have so little faith," Jesus said. "Why did you doubt me?" When he climbed back into the boat, the wind stopped. Then the disciples worshipped him and said, "You really are the Son of God," they exclaimed. Thank you very much. Give yourselves a little clap. Super job. You see, in this passage, Jesus does something a little bit unusual. He walks towards the disciples at the crack of dawn on the water, and they're terribly confused. And Peter is like, if this is really you, then tell me to get out of the boat. And so Jesus, of course, says, come, get out of the boat. Now, I don't know about you, but I've been on a few boats in my time. We have relatives living on the Isle of Wight, and I've never once in my life thought a really good thing to do right now would be to step off this ferry and see if I could walk there. Okay, so the fact that sort of Jesus said, well, just come then, Peter, come and walk on the water with me, I feel quite perplexed by. But nevertheless, Peter had that level of faith to step onto the water and walk towards Jesus. This series this summer has been about seeing what God is doing in our nation. And if I'm really honest, I just have one point for you today. And this is it. It is time to get out of the boat and walk on the water. Put our faith in Jesus. Now, of course, not literally. Those of you that go sailing or whatever, you're travelling, please don't get out of the boat and try walking to your location of choice. That wouldn't quite be so sensible. But what I mean is that it's time to get out of our comfort zone with our faith. So I just want to begin by sharing some of the statistics that the Bible Society has found from their report, because this is where our sermon series began. It began with looking at what God is doing in our nation and what our response might be to that. So in their 2024 report, they found that 12% of adults in England and Wales are attending church monthly. That was compared to 8% in 2018. And the report describes how having a Christian faith is again being normalised and is even arguably culturally attractive. People actually want to go to church. And this is the bit that I find interesting, that I think should motivate us to get out of our comfort zone and get out of our boat. A third of people who don't go to church would be willing to give it a go if a family or friend invited them. That is 1/3. Okay? You ask 3 people, 1 of them would say yes. That makes me want to get out of the boat. 1 in 4 people said they would think about giving the Bible a try. So if 1 in 4 people, if you ask 4 people, would you read the Bible? 1 of those people would say yes. And actually, in 18 to 24-year-olds, it's actually 37%. So more of them would say yes. 2 in 3 people, 2/3, said that they would be happy for a Christian friend to pray for them. And if I'm honest, since I've started working for the church, loads of people ask me to pray for them. It's a little bit weird. I think I could have prayed for you before I started working for the church, but now you feel I definitely can. Okay? So now is a good time to get out of the boat. Okay? Because the nation is ready. People are ready to receive. Now, getting out of the boat looks a little bit different for everybody, okay? We all find ourselves in different places, different life spaces. For some of you, I think getting out of the boat means actually to trust Jesus a little bit more, to prioritize your relationship with him a little bit more. And that might be thinking about some of the things that have been mentioned this summer, about crying out in prayer, about starting the day in worship, about being spiritual watchmen and looking out for what God is doing. It might be about starting a Bible study. It's about stepping out in faith for you, is about choosing to prioritize your relationship with Jesus. But for a lot of us, I think we have to be more outwardly confident with our faith. And dare I even say, be a bit more evangelistic. Sometimes getting out of the boat is very obvious. Last year for me, getting out of the boat was leaving the classroom behind and starting working for the church. Getting out of the boat for me this year looks a little bit less obvious than that. It looks more like being invitational to the mums that I meet on the school run, listening to them and thinking about when I can talk about my faith and trusting that they probably will actually receive it, whereas years ago they might not have done. For our children, getting out of the boat might look like bringing a friend along to church. For our youth, it might look like inviting somebody along to see you or to one of the club nights or to refuel, and knowing that actually there's a good chance they might actually say yes. For other of us in workplaces, getting out of the boat means thinking about who we can invite to Alpha. Or when Christmas, yes, Christmas, comes along, inviting people to come along. For our students, getting out the boat might mean living a bit differently to your peers. and be able to explain why you make some of the choices that you make. Stepping out of the boat looks different for everybody. And I wonder, tomorrow, is the 1st of September. For many people, there are two starts to the year, the 1st of January and the 1st of September. And so our message for us really today is quite simple. It's time to get out of the boat. And I want to give you time and space to think and reflect about what that looks like for you. Listening to Pete Gregg's podcast, he says this, the time really is now. The statistics are staggering. We have a choice, and if we don't go, we will miss it. So in a moment, I'm going to come and invite the band to play. I told you, short, 1 point. And in that time, I'm going to invite you to come and stand on the floor as a symbol for those of you who actually say, yes, tomorrow, as I go into this new season, I want to mark this as me getting out of the boat. And as we gather together on the floor, acknowledging that actually we want to put Jesus first, we want to be like Peter and trust him, would you ask God to challenge you? What is it you need to do to get out of the boat? So why don't we come and gather on the floor here? And children and youth, this is something that you can do as well. And at the back there's going to be some little feet. And you can draw on there what your get out of the boat is. On my one, I've drawn myself and two of my friends that I've met on the school run. And my get out of the boat is going to try and be brave and be invitational to them. Some of you near the front might need to shuffle forward a little bit. I think there's still a few people coming down the steps, and it might get a bit busy at the back in a minute with children doing colouring. So do come and fill the space at the front and on the sides. Heavenly Father, we thank you for all that you are doing in this nation. We thank you that in this past month, you have reminded us of how great you are. We thank you that the spiritual landscape of this nation is changing and that people are now, more than ever, ready and willing to listen to you, and that they're desperate to find you, Lord. We pray now, Lord, that as we come before you with our intention to step out of the boat, would you reveal to us what that looks like for us? And if we find ourselves in that moment sinking like Peter did, would you call us by name so that we might fix our eyes on you, Lord? So I encourage you now to just use this time to chat to God about what this next season looks like for you, this next week, this next month, this next term. And ask him to reveal to you what he's calling you to step out of.